2025 was the year that Ember taught me more than I taught anyone else. And I just thought I'd make a fun little documentary. I'll be looking here, I'll be looking at the cameras, and just wanted to recap this year. When I started Ember, my intention was very clear. I wanted to teach people about marketing and branding. I wanted to teach founders. I wanted to, if it was just anyone who wanted to learn, I was ready to teach them. The business model that I created was to teach founders, only because I believed that they had the most control to make any changes that they wanted. For example, if they needed to rebrand the company, if their brand identity was lacking, that was something that I would teach them. If they needed a website, I would teach them how to make a website. It was more of me teaching them how to do something over a span of 6 months so that they wouldn't need to go to any other agency to do so. I worked with 2 incredible clients this year, one who was just starting out their company and one who was kind of trying to see where they could position themselves, this year. We worked towards the latter part of 2024 and went full force in 2025. Again, they were just 6-month projects because I didn't think I needed more time to teach them. And after that, I don't think I would have been adding as much value. And it was really good. They learned so much. And these 2 clients were just the clients that I coached. And I did start there. I started there because, like I said, I thought I could add the most value to teams in general and companies in general by teaching their founders. As I went through the year, after those contracts ended, it was a struggle for me to find founders to teach, especially in Sri Lanka. Some people didn't really see the value in coaching, and I completely understand that, because if you were to ask me to accept the same offer that I was offering, I may have been a little hesitant. But the ones who I coach and the ones who have experienced this sort of learned really well. See, I had one mission in mind, and the mission was to teach people about marketing and branding. So I took a step back and tried to see how I could do this in a better way, whether it was talking to founders, whether it was coaching them, whether it was just having a course, whether it was having weekly classes. I really didn't know where I was going. So I took a break and I started out pushing content on my social media. And that's what I did towards about May, June. So it was more of just market research, just to see how people were engaging, whether they liked the conversations, how they wanted those conversations sort of represented or published, whether it was a reel, whether it was carousels. So I started doing a mix of everything, till I realized that majority of the content, as a perfectionist, it was a one-man, I'm a one-man team. So majority of the content was taking up, it was taking up time for me to create that content. And as a perfectionist, it really took a lot of time because I was trying to perfect every little detail, from like centering to fonts to all of that, till I realized that, it was all about the value, and that's what people wanted. For me to tap into the Sri Lankan market, it wasn't just enough for me to say, okay, I'm teaching people in Sri Lanka. I actually had to talk and engage in the market. So one of my most successful posts, or the post that rather performed the best, was a review of the energy drink market in Sri Lanka and how branding plays a role and brand positioning plays a role. It kind of went a little viral on LinkedIn. On Instagram, people were sharing it. It kind of led me to realize that people just wanted conversation. People just wanted to learn about what they were sort of experiencing on a day-to-day basis, even things that they didn't learn in ways that they could relate to, which was why when I used brands like Hypebam and Ride, people in the market resonated a lot more with it rather than me talking about like McDonald's, for example. So after that, I started thinking about actually having these conversations. It was something that I wanted to do. I just didn't know how I could do it with, like the bandwidth that I had and the time. I just didn't know how I could push content out like this. So I went back to one of my most practiced content strategies, something that I recommend for a lot of brands, where you create high quality content that you can eventually repurpose. So I found a studio, started recording, and I just started recording. I didn't want to do anything else with it. I just wanted to document. And yeah, I had, like a phone that I could record with that had like 4K, all of this stuff. But I was focusing on all of these technical things, like, like how high it was, the tripod, the background. I just wanted to be in a space where I just could teach. And that's what brought me to a studio. And then I just thought, okay, why don't I bring people here? It was kind of boring talking to myself, so I just wanted to talk to people. And that's when Jonathan Joseph came for the first podcast. We had Shakil, and we have a few more people lined up. But that's what led me to have these conversations, and I realized that's what I love doing, and it was the best way for me to teach people. I'm going to focus on being a little bit more consistent next year with my content. And it's crazy because I teach this to people and I talk to people about, having a consistent strategy and having posts that go up frequently. where consistency would be the best measure of growth, because you're going to be able to evaluate your metrics a lot better. You're going to be able to look into analytics. You're going to have data to play around with rather than just maybe 1 or 2 posts that you really perfected. This is something I learned this year as well. So for me, I'm going to put that into practice next year. So early on, a place that I suffered was taking on multiple projects. I spoke about this in one of my videos as well. What was happening was, as those coaching contracts were ended, I was taking on other projects only because I believed that it would teach them about branding, about marketing a little bit, and I could do it with them and teach them. So when those coaching contracts were coming to an end, the company was in a state where, I was wondering about revenue. I was looking, okay, how could I sustain myself to do what I need to do? Because literally everything that I earned was being pumped back into the company. So I just started taking branding projects, marketing projects to stay afloat. That was the primary goal, but also try to teach them about marketing and branding. For example, I had a company who was really lacking on brand awareness, but they needed, a website. So I made a website for them, but I also taught them how to make a website. So we did it parallelly. So I made it the way that they wanted, showed them how to use it. I personally use a tool called Framer that is a no-code tool, really easy to make websites. And I was showing them how they could do it as well. But as I was doing this, what happened was, I was doing a bunch. I wasn't really specialized at anything, right? Because I was ending the coaches. I was doing coaching. I was making websites. I was also making things like company profiles. And in the midst of all of that, I really wasn't specialized at anything. So I was not picking up on certain skills or certain processes. I wasn't optimizing my workflow. I wasn't even having a workflow. And I don't know how it just happens sometimes when you're just in the middle of everything. You really need to take a step back. And I did take a step back. And that's when I looked at my social media. I looked at what I was doing to achieve the vision and the mission that I had for Ember. And that was not it. So I had to kind of cut those off. I had to make a decision to sort of cut off those projects, stick to only branding projects that made sense. It was a hard decision to make, but I had to make that. And I had to trust the fact that, my mission was more valuable than profit. And I think that's something that people, including myself, struggle with. Again, it comes from a place of how am I going to survive? How am I going to run this company? But it does damage your brand value and what you want to do with it in the long run. So I'm now looking back at it, I'm so grateful I took that step back, because I was able to focus on things that I wanted to do, like the podcast, like recording videos. And like I said, I came into the studio, I put myself into, the literally the seat, and I just wanted to teach. I just wanted to talk about marketing and branding. And doing that changed things for me drastically. I said at the start of this video that Ember taught me way more than I taught anyone this year. And that was also another issue for me. I was doing all of these services for people, and I realized that I wasn't still teaching. I didn't have the time to teach myself. And that's something that was very important, because how could I teach someone something new if I wasn't keeping myself up to date? So Ember in 2026 is going to look a little different. It's going to be more about having these conversations. The goal is to put out weekly or bi-weekly episodes. I still don't know how I'd be able to do that. And I think the goal for me is just to do it consistently. So that's what I will be doing. So YouTube is just going to be flooded with content. I'm going to repurpose all those onto TikTok, Instagram, just to sort of see how I could make this content machine for next year, because that was the area I was probably lacking the most. I think I saw the power of this towards, just a few weeks ago when Shakil's and Jonathan Joseph's podcast started going out. People started reaching out to me rather than me reaching out to them. I think that was beautiful. The fact that people were asking, it kind of showed me and reminded me why I'm doing this. And that's what I wanted, rather than just providing services for brands and teaching people. So I shifted the entire thing from, teaching companies and agencies, that B2B side of things, to more of, the consumers, the people, the students, the people like you and I who just want to learn. I've shifted it to that. So 2026 is going to be looking like me actually speaking to those people. I'll be releasing a course as well called Hello Marketing. It was supposed to come out this year, but there were, like I said, problems, difficulties. One man. It's just a one-man team. So hopefully next year, towards the early part, it will be out. And that will be just like that go-to course. Not even a course, just like videos that you could watch that'll teach you about what it means to truly be a marketer in 2026. We'll be talking about AI, we'll be talking about video editing, photo editing, like the things that really matter that you're going to use on a day-to-day basis, working in a company, especially a Sri Lankan company. So I'll be tailoring it for that. But if you've switched from any other degree or industry into marketing, that course would be for you. There will be, I'm hoping to make a few more courses as well, but I'm still trying to get the operational workflow for it. And it's something that I'll be putting a lot more effort into next year. But yeah, aside from that, I don't know what 2026 is going to look like. I know 2025 isn't perfect, but I did learn a lot. I did learn, like I said, more than I've taught anyone else, just because there were ups and downs, mainly downs, not gonna lie, mainly downs, but I'm looking forward to more ups next year. So yeah, with that being said, I just want to thank you for listening, for tuning in, for supporting Ember this year. If you're new here, 2026 is going to be a good year. And if you've been here since the start of the year, thank you so much for being part of this community and this journey. Looking forward to 2026, and I'm hoping you'll be there with me as well. And we'll be able to support each other as I build this community for us.